to welcome back to Barker and to introduce this evening Mr. Simon Hood as our guest of honour. None of the boys of the junior school will be able to emulate Simon Hood's time at Barker. Well, my notes tell me that he joined Barker in second class, and second class is no more. But he was here from second class to sixth form, and he left in 1984 as the headmaster has told us. He had a distinguished school career. It involved, in the course of that period, he was the winner of the Constable Cup in sixth class. He involved himself in drama, choir, band. He was the CUO in cadets. He led the Crusader group. He was a member of the student council. He was a prefect. He was also one of the very few people to go from the first 15 of the junior school to the 13 leagues. Simon Hood is a member of one of the great families at Barker. When I was here, the chaplain of the school was the Reverend Canon Payne, rector of St Paul's, Wahroonga. Canon Payne was Simon Hood's grandfather. Not only back from 1933, Canon Payne became chaplain of the school and member of the school council. In addition to Canon Payne's long association, Simon has 4 uncles, several cousins, 3 brothers, and 1 sister who have all attended Barker. Barker therefore obviously means much to Simon Hood and to his family. Simon, on leaving Barker, studied in both history and education at Macquarie and has been involved in the church which has been his family's church at St Paul's, Wahroonga, Sunday School Youth Fellowship, and involvement in services following that. He is the founder in 1981 of No Strings Attached, a puppet company. In 1986 he joined the Bible Society as its first children's director. In that position, Simon has travelled widely with puppets all over Australia, to Papua New Guinea, to Singapore, and performed in over 1,000 shows. Spent several weeks earlier this year training with the puppets in Hollywood and in New York. The No Strings Attached puppet work with the Bible Society has now expanded into TV and video, having performed often on Sing Me a Rainbow on Channel 7, being seen regularly on various community spots on Channel 9, and performed with Win 4 TV on their highly rated Brekkie Club, and presenting and presently gearing up for their own television miniseries for national TV entitled Alpha. Simon is working with the Bible Society in Australia as Children's Director and Director of Puppetry for Alpha. It is my pleasure, and would you welcome Simon Hood.
Makes me exhausted just listening to it. Your Grace, Mrs. Robinson, Mr. Griffiths, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Ward, members of the school council, school staff, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys.
Are you sure you haven't missed anyone?
Waffle, what are you doing here?
Oh, I just came in to see if you're doing okay, you know, make sure you're funny, short, you know, that sort of stuff.
Waffle, I can do perfectly well on my own if you don't mind.
No, you're right, go right ahead.
Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, just one of the dangers of being a puppeteer.
A puppet? Oh, you should be a puppet. You know, continually stuffed in a suitcase, arms ripped, side up, with nowhere to sit.
Waffle.
Sorry.
Begin. It is a tremendous honour for me.
And mate.
It is a tremendous honour for me to be asked to speak at your speech night tonight.
Yeah, and eat all the food afterwards.
Waffle! Barker will always hold a very special place in my heart. 11 happy years of my life were spent here.
Yeah, and that was in a junior school.
I can see this is going to be dangerous. Since leaving Barker, I have worked, as you heard, for the past 6 years with the Bible Society. In my role as Children's Director, I've travelled throughout Australia and overseas with the puppets. Waffle and I have visited hundreds of schools in that time.
Yeah, it feels like millions, doesn't it?
That's right, and we agree that we do not know of a better, all-rounded school to be at than this one.
I don't agree.
Did you say Waffle?
I said, I don't agree.
But Waffle, you said you did agree before we talked about this.
No, what about that school out at Penrith?
Which school was that? I don't understand.
You know, the one off the freeway?
What, a school better than Barker?
Yeah, it was great. You know, it had that huge roller coaster, the hot dogs whenever you wanted them, and that big pirate ship.
Waffle. That's Australia's Wonderland. That's not a school.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, I thought that was a new system of education.
Over my time at Barker.
Does Barker have a roller coaster?
No, Waffle, it doesn't.
Just asking.
It's got an adventure playground, though.
Whoa, fun.
My time at Barker encouraged me in three distinct ways. And it's those three aspects that I'd like to tell you about tonight.
This sounds like it's going to be heavy.
The first was an encouragement to believe in myself. I still remember clearly my first few weeks of school at Barker, and it's wonderful to see Mr. Eric Copeland here tonight, who was the headmaster of the junior school in that time, and a wonderful man. It's great to see him here. But I remember my first few weeks of school at Barker, and it was in second class. I remember sitting on a green bench in the quadrangle. Everything was painted green. It was during a very hot lunchtime. I was trying to hold back tears, for I felt so small and insignificant in such a large school. Mr. Burke, who was then a fifth class teacher, came and sat down beside me. He was interested in how I felt, and he encouraged me to make some mobiles out of string and dowel rods. Every few lunchtimes we made these mobiles. He believed in me and helped me to feel important and valued.
Oh, this is so beautiful, son. Oh, please continue.
That was the beginning of many different experiences at Barker that helped me to feel important. You know, we are fairly flimsy as people. We can be killed easily and bashed down. It takes a...
181.
What are you doing?
Ordering a pizza. That's 250 Super Supreme pan fried, 63 garlic bread, and about 6 litres of Pepsi. Yeah, and it's to be delivered to Barker College Leslie Hall, and Mr. Tucker will pick up the bill.
You finished, Waffle?
Oh, almost.
What did you need all that food for? There's plenty of food downstairs for supper.
Oh, you wait till I finish with it. You won't be much left then.
I guess that's true. Can I continue, Waffle? You don't mind, do you?
Oh, no, carry on. Don't worry about me.
We are fairly flimsy as people, you know. We can be killed easily and bashed down. It takes a lot to build others up, and so easy to knock them down. It takes a lot more to make someone like themselves than to make them feel guilty or ashamed. We are like this paper. And I warn you, this is a trick. Do not try this at home. I warn you, do not try this at home. Do it at your next door neighbours. You know what? Sometimes we are crushed by words. So easy to be crushed by words. Sometimes one can be torn apart by circumstances. And you know what? Too easily in our culture and in our society, those things, those crushings, those tearing out, can make people feel so bad that they end it altogether. I hope you're not like that. Barker is the kind of school that will make you feel important. We've heard tonight some of the fantastic things that the junior school boys have done. That's to help you to feel important. I hope Barker will give you what it has given me, value and importance. The second encouragement I learned at school was to care for others and to work together as a team. Barker has always fostered this attribute, and we've heard that many times tonight. If our country is to move out of recession and take on again the title of a lucky country, it will be when teamwork and care for our neighbour becomes a valued part of life. I think Waffle's doing that.
Okay, boring.
Earlier on this year, Mal Heath is hiding somewhere, I'm going to get him back later. Phil Windsor, who's another Barker boy, and I had the great privilege of spending a couple of weeks with the Muppets in Hollywood and New York. I can't describe to you the feeling of meeting face-to-face Gonzo from the Muppet Show, Elmo from Sesame Street, seeing a drawer labelled Kermit's Eyes, and to walk past the shelf with a plaster block marked Miss Piggy Master Mould. The whole experience is one we will never forget. In watching the process of producing a multi-million dollar high technology production from start to finish, the thing that struck us most was the calm, relaxed teamwork that existed at every level of the operation. The sculptors started the process, the computer programmers added their skill, the costume designers and builders brought the finished character to life, and finally, it reached the hands of the puppeteers. Teamwork is most important. In your time at Barker, make the most of the groups that are here. Learn to work with others in your sport, your musical groups, and your drama. Barker is second to none in the variety and quality of pursuits that you can try. Make the most of it. Now, I wanted to read a bit from the Bible, but I seem to have lost one. Waffle, do you have a spare Bible anywhere?
Told you we're going to need me.
Well, I do need you now. Do you have a spare Bible, Waffle?
Yeah, I've got one down here.
Okay, just excuse me.
It's a long way down the bottom. There we go.
Now, where was it?
Oh, it's on fire! It's on fire!
What's that, Waffle?
Your book was on fire!
This book?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. What are you talking about? It's okay.
It was on fire, wasn't it?
Hang on, I'm just trying to find it.
Look, it's on fire!
What's that, Waffle?
Oh,
Waffle, look, it's hard enough standing in front of about 1,200 people and talking without you trying to frighten me.
it was on fire!
No, the verse was here somewhere now. That's
Look,
it.
look at the book!
Of course. It's a hot book, Waffle.
And that was a flaming good joke.
Well, it's got nothing to do with the talk, but it's a great finish, I tell you. Now, the verse in the Bible, it says here, look out for one another's interests, not just your own. The attitude that you should have is the one that Jesus Christ had. He was humble and walked the path of obedience all the way to death, his death on the cross. Looking out for one another leads me to this, the third encouragement that Barker gave me, an encouragement to believe in God. God knows all about me. He understands me. He loves me, and he is totally interested in me. All that is true about you as well. Let me read on something else from the Bible, especially true for our times. So do not start worrying. Where will my food come from or my drink? These are the things that unbelievers are worried about. Your Father in heaven knows that you need all these things. God knows you, and he is interested in you. I've got something else to show you. Before I came here tonight, I drew a prediction on a card, a piece of cardboard. Now, I need someone to help me.
Oh, mate.
No, not you, Waffle. They'll think that I set this up. Maybe someone in the front row there. Can you tell me any product that you can buy in a supermarket?
Make it chocolate.
No, Waffle. Don't give me any hints.
Tim Tams.
Let me think. Yeah, the bottom of the hand up there. Butter.
Butter. Yuck.
You sure you want butter? You don't want chocolate or anything like that? Ice cream?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Ice cream with soy sauce.
Okay, you want butter. Do you know any particular brand of butter? Maybe one of the mums would help us out here. I don't even know brand of butter. I'm talking about. One of the mothers give us a brand of butter. Meadow Lee. I know Meadow Lee. I mean butter. Brand of butter. No frills. Yeah, that's easy. Now, what is your name? What is it? Lucas. Now, I didn't talk to you before this, did I? I didn't tell you to say no frills butter. Now, you sure I haven't? I've never spoken to you before in my life, have I? Would you believe on this piece of cardboard I have the barcode for no frills butter? How about that? Now, little trick. I know a bit about you. God knows all about you. He loves you so much that he sent Jesus to suffer and die for you. That's how much God knows you. Now, being a Barker, All of you boys have the same 3 encouragements that I was given. You are valuable. You are important. You do know that God loved you so much that he sent Jesus into the world for you. But like any gift, you can take it or you can reject it. Once when I was in 4th class, I was playing with some friends beside number 1 after school. Now all 3 of us used to live in Barker. We knew every hiding spot, every secret corridor. There was nothing that we 3 mischievous boys didn't know about this school. Anyway, one afternoon there was a 44-gallon drum sitting beside the road. We immediately had an idea. We dragged a plank down to it, set up a ramp, piled up a huge pile of the liquid amber leaves that tend to fall down there. Now, when we had it all set up, I was the most daring.
Or stupid.
The most daring, and I decided to go first. The ramp looked huge. There was nothing to be done but to back halfway up the road next to number 2 to get a sufficient runoff. Now, I was a trifle nervous, but when one wants to show off, one will do anything.
Yeah, it's not prove that, doesn't it?
I shot off down the hill, all while gaining pace. I pedalled faster and faster, and the ramp came closer and closer. I pedalled, and the ramp came closer and closer.
Listen, son, don't you think you're sort of dragging this out unnecessarily?
But Waffle, that's how you tell stories. That's what it's all about. Anyway, it came closer and whooshed straight up the ramp, off the other end.
Sorry.
What's that, Waffle?
Your time's up. Yep, up you go.
No, it's not. Let me finish. I flew off the ramp and a pile of leaves was in front of me, and underneath me, and behind me. And I quickly knew what a block of cheese feels like to be straight through a grater. I came closely acquainted with the concrete.
Sorry.
Yeah?
What's this got to do with anything you're talking about?
Well, you have the 3 most important tools of life in front of you.
What? The staple gun? The cordless drill?
The 3 most important tools are belief in yourself, an interest in others, and a faith in God. I wonder how you will put them together. Now, like me, you won't always succeed, but sometimes you will. You won't always come first and do your best, but sometimes you will. Take these 3 attributes that Barker offers and make the most of them. You will never regret it. To finish off, I'd like to leave all the parents a brief word of encouragement. I know Barker is a great school, but without the support of my parents and family, it would have been wasted.
Come on. This is very boring.
But Waffle, this is the important part. This is the ending.
So if you finish with something boring, they're all going to go home and this talk was boring. Have you forgotten everything I taught you?
Well, you didn't do. I beg your pardon.
Finish with a joke.
A joke?
Yeah.
This is a formal occasion. I can't finish with a joke.
Oh, look, I'm sure it will work. I guarantee you.
Okay. Well, let's try. All right. What's green and black?
Oh, this was a great joke. Yes, good joke. Good choice.
Okay, let's try. What's green and
Oh,
black?
you're going to love this. You'll kill yourself over this one. Brilliant. Yes.
What's green and black?
I knew this joke years ago.
Well, I think we've got the idea. You know this joke?
Oh, yeah, I know this one.
You sure you know this joke?
Yep.
Will you help me with it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. I'll tell a joke.
Yep.
And you say, I give up. What is it?
I give up. What is it?
Right, got it?
Yep.
What's
I give up. What is it?
No, Waffle. You wait till I finish, then you say, I give up. What is it?
Wait till you finish. Right.
What's
I give up. What is it?
When I finish.
When you finish. Right.
Sure. When I have finished the joke.
Right. When you
Tell you
finish.
what,
Okay.
I'll go, I'll finish the joke, then I'll say go. And you do
Okay.
it.
Right.
What's green and black and has 57 legs? Waffle now, go.
What?
Say the punchline.
Punchline.
Waffle, say the punchline or I won't give you any supper.
Supper now. Oh yes. Whoa.
Waffle! Last time I sealed public. Well, I'm going to finish my way. As I was saying, I want to finish by encouraging all the parents amongst you. All that time that you spend with your sons and daughters is valuable, and it's an investment. That love and care that you show, even if it's not appreciated now, will certainly be later. Encourage them to believe in themselves. Encourage them to be interested in others. And encourage them to trust in God. I have the best mother and father in the universe, I know that. Their support, their devotion, and their belief in me is something that money will never buy. I am so glad to be their son. In fact, when I was a baby, I was their fourth son, they tell me that Mum was in the hospital nursing me, and my father walked in. He took me in his arms and nursed me too, and he looked down into my eyes, and he looked back at Mum, and he looked at me, and he said,
I give up! What is it?
I give up.
Thank you.